I want to begin by expressing my appreciation to the members of this panel for the work that you're doing in our behalf. I think it's perhaps the most important work that's going on in our government, because I think the issue of our decade and perhaps beyond that is going to be how to deal with the emergence of China as a great power. And they would hope to become the greatest and only great power. So I salute your work. I just want to underscore a few things I think we know. We know that China's GDP will surpass our own by a lot, just given the size of their population, ultimately. We know that at this stage, their procurement is pretty close to equal ours, military procurement, that is. And so in the future, with a greater economy, they will be able to substantially outinvest us in terms of procurement. We know that geopolitically, they are rising and we are not. They're lining up people to support them. People who in the past have not supported them are now coming to their side. That's in part because they see where the power goes. Friends often go where they believe their interest is going to be best protected. And as China becomes stronger, we may find that they are able to collect something which they've never had before, which is friends. I think President Trump, by the way, was right to confront China and to push back against their trade practices. I think he made a mistake by not doing so in collaboration with our allies and being able to have much more clout pushing against them. I think Secretary Pompeo was right to have spoken so forcefully to awaken our allies to the threat posed by China and to encourage a collaboration with them. I would also note that many of us have very great concerns about the human rights abuses going on in China, the outrageous treatment of minorities, the Uyghurs, of people of religious faith, the people of Hong Kong. It's simply extraordinary. We also see their activities in the South China Sea with great alarm. But it's my own view that it's very unlikely that they will change these practices in a very significant way until they feel pain. And the only pain that we're going to be able to exert, other than words and people decrying them, would be economic pain. And so the question that I would ask with regards to our panel and Secretary Stilwell in particular is: are our allies and other nations that follow the rule of law, whether India, Japan, South Korea, the EU, are they poised to combine at some point and to develop a collaborative a trade policy which will exert such pressure on China that they will be diverted from the course they're on and move towards a comporting with the international order? Are we there? And if we're not there, what do we need to do to get there?
Senator, thank you for that great question. It pretty much encapsulates my entire time in this job and a lot of success that we've seen in this regard in getting others to find their voice. I mentioned the Europeans of late, after Wang Yi's not so successful tour, have also begun to acknowledge the problem. As we all know, China uses its economic clout as a cudgel to force countries to do things that are not in its own interest. And the way many portray this in this new great power competition is the simple act of talking about it, transparency. As we know, the information environment inside the PRC is clogged. It's one way. Those who speak out, like Dr. Li Wenliang, who pointed out the problems with corona, are oftentimes squelched. That's because the government fears transparency. They don't want to be seen what's happening in Xinjiang. And so we identify that this is a values issue where they're using slave labor to produce things that we appreciate here in the West. And I think those of us in the free world are smart enough to take action, economic action, to address this sort of behavior. And so you have linkages between economic interest and values and who we are. And the United States, Secretary Pompeo, the President, have all been very vocal about this, as you said, is to connect those two. What you have, the result of that then is you've got companies leaving China. When you arrest Australian reporters, or you threaten to arrest them because of something that's happening in Australia, you now have 0 Australian reporters in the PRC. You can imagine businesses are going to feel the same thing with this new national security law. Article 38 says that if you said anything derogatory about the PRC or about the government, that you are subject to arrest. All these things work against that juggernaut that you described, Senator, of this inevitability of Chinese domination of the global economy. And at the same time, we're seeing great work and cooperation on the economic side. Again, Japan, $2 billion to reshore out of Taiwan. TSMC, the world's greatest chip manufacturer, looking to reshore here into Arizona, creating American jobs. So I don't think it is as inevitable as they would make it sound. I do think the U.S. has been able to generate cooperation with allies, partners, definitely in the East Asia Pacific region and elsewhere, as everyone recognizes the threat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Secretary. I know my time is up. I just want to underscore, I believe, the importance of combining with these other nations on a collaborative basis to confront China. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For